Good evening, 7th grade math. Today was the first day of 7th grade math, and we had a really fun time reviewing what we learned last year. I just wanted to go over one topic which would definitely help you do tonight's homework, which was, ready? Between, oh, this is way too thick. Excuse me, guys. What two consecutive whole numbers does square root of 20 lie? Right? Between what two consecutive whole numbers does square root of 20, root 20 lie? Consecutive numbers are numbers that are back to back, 2, 3, 4, 5. Consecutive numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8. Consecutive numbers that are greater than 10 are, consecutive whole numbers I meant, 11, 12, 13. They're back to back, one after another. So, square root of 20, if you want to know where, I say, where does it lie, right? We're thinking about a number line, okay? So let me drop a number line right here. Square root of 20 is obviously a positive number. So if this is 0, square root of 20 is located somewhere on the right side from 0. Where could it be? Now, we've learned to approximate it, estimate it. Square root of 20 is not a number that you can easily estimate. However, if you understand the nature of the radicand, right? The concept of root, square root, then if you look carefully, you guys know that square root of 4 is 2. What does that mean? Radicand 4 means you come up with a number that multiplies by itself twice to equal that number. Therefore, square root of 100 is equal to 10. Let me do one more. Square root of 9 is equal to 3, and so on and so forth, okay? But square root of 20, this number 20 is not a perfect square. Today, we went over a list of perfect squares, right? Can we just quickly do that? Perfect. Misspelled. Okay, so perfect squares. What are they? Number multiply by itself, meaning you multiply 1 by itself, meaning you're squaring 1. 1 square is 1. 2 square is 4. 3 square is 9. 4 squared is 16. 5 square is 25. 6 square is 36. The list goes on and on and on. And then from this list, we said, guess what? All these products, they are perfect squares. So, good way to look at it is that square root of 20 is between some two whole numbers. What are they? The easy way to look at it is that, another way to look at it is that, between what two root numbers? Did you hear me? Between what two radical numbers does square root of 20 lie? So you can think of these two numbers as radicals, okay? Radical numbers. Take a look at our perfect square list, okay? Perfect square list. Doesn't 20, I'm just looking at the radicand, okay? Doesn't 20 lie between 16 and 25? So I can almost express, square root of 20 is greater than square root of 16. It's the closest one that's less than 20, square root of 20. And what's the next one? It's 25. But wait a minute. You guys know how to re-express this. Square root of 16 is 4, isn't it? Square root of 25 is 5. So, in other words, square root of 20 is between what two whole numbers? 4 and 5. And they are two consecutive whole numbers, aren't they? That's the answer. Let us visualize that, okay? So here's a number line. Here is a number line. And, you can start from 0. It doesn't matter to, you can always show other numbers, but I really don't see the point of it. So I'm just gonna show just 4 and 5, okay? 4 and 5. 6 and 7 and 8, and the 3, 2, 1, list goes on, okay? Where could square root of 20 be? It's definitely between 4 and 5, but where about? If you look really carefully, you guys, square root of 20 is Ready? I mean, just roughly look at it. Which one do you think, which number? Is it 4 that's root 20 is closer to, or 5? Slightly, if you compare the differences, right? Differences. It's slightly closer to, if I would call this 4.5. Wouldn't square root of 20, right? Little short of 4.5, right here. That's square root of 20. Of course, if you would punch that number into a calculator, it'll give you a crazy decimal. So square root of 20, computing that number is equal to finding a decimal that multiplies by itself twice, right? To equal to 20. I don't think you'll be able to find a whole number that'll give you that, okay? So we're just estimating. All right, so that's my visual answer, but the exact answers are 4 and 5. Let's do one more, just to make sure you have a clear understanding. Example 2. How about, let's try to come up with a really big number. Root 200. Root 200. Make sure that number is not a perfect square number, okay? All right, so, hey guys, root 200, what two consecutive whole numbers does root 200 lie between, okay? What two consecutive whole numbers? Again, we're gonna think of whole numbers first. At this point, radical numbers. So let's try to like list up perfect squares that are close to 200. What are they? We know that 13 square is, what is it? 169. What's next? 14 square is 196. 15 square is 225, and the list goes on. Do you notice that 200 lies between 196 and 225? In that case, you can just fill in. Here we go. Square root of 196, and those are the boundaries, right? So what is it saying? It's saying that, eventually square root of 196 is equal to, 14. 225 is equal to 15. So the answers are, or if you were to, express, like if you were to give a complete sentence answer, square root of 200, okay? Square root of 200 lies between 14 and 15. Those are the two consecutive whole numbers square root of 200 lies between, okay? All right, to wrap up the problem, let's give a visual answer. We said between 14 and 15, so 14 and 15 are my boundary numbers. Somewhere between 14 and 15 will be square root of 200. Do you think it will be closer to, this number, square root of 200, would be closer to 14 or 15? You know what? Let's eyeball. All right, so if you look at the radicand, right? The radicands are 196 and 200 and 225. Obviously, 196 is much closer to 200 than 225 is to 200, right? So we're just roughly estimating the location. So 200 is a little bit more closer, okay? Closer to right here. How about this one? Would it be much closer? Actually, yeah. Actually, yes. Much closer. I want to be really brave and put root 200 right there. How about that? Okay? Because it won't pass 14.5. 14.5 will be like almost here, right? And square root of 200 does not go over 14.5. Again, computing square root of 200 is equal to it's same as coming up with a number, right? A number that multiplies by itself twice to equal to 200. And that's not a whole number. That's a decimal. So we can only estimate the rough location of the number square root of 200. And all we know is that it is between 14 and 15. That means it's approximately 14 point something. But don't worry about the decimal digits. Okay? So I hope that helps you guys with homework. All right, then I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.